forms part of our devotion this evening, and we've titled it, I Will Boast in the Lord. Do you have anything that you can boast about? Is there any reason for you to boast as a believer? Then boast not on the things that are earthly, but boast on the Lord. Boast in Him who has saved your life. Boast in Him who has come and changed your circumstances. Boast in Him who has given you that testimony, and also in Him who has blessed your life. If there is any boasting indeed, let it be because of Jesus Christ. Sometimes you will hear people pay compliments, and you hear somebody say, okay, ni God. It's not I, but it is the Lord. Indeed, we are to give Him all the glory for the things that He has done, because He is a glorious God. And that's why Paul, writing in 1 Corinthians verse 20, that's 1 Corinthians 20 onwards, it says, where is the wise person? Where is the teacher of the law? Where is the philosopher of this age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of this world, of the world? For since in the wisdom of God the world through its wisdom did not know Him, God was pleased through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believe. Jews demand signs and Greeks look for wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. Verse 24 says, but to those whom God has called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. For the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than human strength. Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before Him. It is because of Him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us wisdom from God, that is our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. Therefore, as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. Yes, if there is indeed any level of boasting at all about our achievements, about what God has done for us, about our elevation, about the blessings that God has given unto us, about even the intellect that we possess, let it be because of Jesus. And let's also understand that if Jesus did not do it for us on that cross 2,000 years ago, then none of us would ever lay claim to anything. But we are because Jesus is. We are today who we are because the Bible talks about the things that are not to nullify the things that are. Therefore, that which was despised, God chose the lowly things of this world today and the despised things, and those things that are not to nullify the things that are. There are many things today in the world, our world as we speak, the things that bear all the glory of men, whether you're talking about the sports, whether you're talking about money, you could be talking about homes, things that people look at and they say, wow, you wrote that book, you recorded that album, you did this and that, you are the pioneer, and so on and so forth. But that is not the channel that God is looking at, but God is looking at that thing which is despised. It reminds you of David, when David was out there in the wild, tending after sheep, fighting bears, and the servant of the Lord, the seer Samuel, had come to anoint the next king of Israel. And David was the least considered, but he was actually the one who was despised. He was called and he was elevated into leadership. So may the Lord help us that we will always boast in Him and not in our own achievements. Indeed, we lay our crowns, we cast them down, even so that God can take his place in our lives. Because without him, we realize that we could not have made it as a nation, as professionals, as individuals, as families. Where could we be? So if there is any boasting about my child, about my wife, my husband, let it be in the Lord, because in him we live and move and have